Something will happen on election night. You don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. But ultimately, the important thing to understand is that your FPUC and hazard pay and stimulus check has nothing to do with what happens on election night. Ultimately, you're still owed money, and you're still owed a lot of money, and that money hasn't been paid to you. And while we may not know the path to get to that stimulus relief until we see what happens after election night, you can't sit back today and say, I know exactly what's happening on election night. We simply just don't know. What you can do is become part of the Purple Power caucuses. Hashtag Purple Power Check, hashtag Purple Power FPUC, and hashtag Purple Power Hazard Pay. And this is Purple Power. Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm here, you're here, and I'm so encouraged and positive and excited for the new week with the incredible great news that unfolded today and will continue to unfold tomorrow. I really thank you for joining me on a great night of Purple Power. It is absolutely been categorically incredible, your great response to the Purple Power hashtags and Purple Power caucuses announced all throughout the day. Hundreds of thousands of you have been tweeting incredible, great, kind remarks because you all were already doing this. We just didn't have a name for it, and now it's much more organized. Go to the front of the channel, subscribe, so you're part of this community, so you don't miss a video. You know, if there's a late video that goes up because the sun drops and I miss something, or a power outage like last night, you don't miss a video when it goes up live. Also, hit the alert button on the front of the channel so you get an alert when the video goes live. Also, like this video. It's really helping so the video appears higher in the rankings because of the algorithm. In this video tonight, I'm going to go over more about why the Purple Power Caucus is so incredibly important. No one is doing anything like this. The only thing that you can compare this to is the Problem Solvers or the Blue Dogs wanted to do this but didn't do it. And the New Democrat Coalition sort of wanted to do this but didn't. This is sort of like what the Problem Solvers did. The only problem is the Problem Solvers just wrote something and just put their feet up and said, hi, I wrote something, here you go. No, we're not that sort of simplistic here. Let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news is that we do not know what's going to happen on election night. We can predict, we can, read the tea leaves, but ultimately we really don't know. And the problem is that there's too many things that are happening on election night that we can't say I can predict one thing because you don't know what's going to happen with all the other things. And all those things impact your stimulus check. Presidency, the Senate, and of course, a contested election. Those are the three things you simply just don't know what's going to happen on election night. If you see it was three things, the permutations of at least three variables could leave you really uncertain. With that, we have become focused and laser focused on the Purple Power Caucus. Now, I want to say at the top of this video, because I don't always say it in every video, everything we've done up to this point, we're not changing. It is still seats for stimulus. It is still a push for executive orders, for stimulus checks, and for FPUC right now, over the next 9 days before election. It is still I am valued. It is still hashtag MSC. All that is still the same, and you need to push, push, push. What I'm talking about is what's new also for today. In addition to pushing for executive orders down to the very last minute of election night, we are already getting formed and organized for what happens after election night. What's important to understand is that you're owed stimulus and that there is no stimulus agreement. And because there is no stimulus agreement, then your voice can be heard. Because no one has written to pen, okay, it's going to be $1,200 stimulus check and it'll cover you for the last 8 months and every House of Congress has agreed upon it. Here you go. Oh no, we're not even close to that. Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin both confirmed today that virtually all deal provisions have not been agreed to. I mean, they haven't agreed to stimulus checks. They haven't agreed to FPUC. Hazard pay's gone. So the whole field is open for us. let's go over each of these caucuses. You need to be on Twitter, jump on Twitter, or jump on Facebook, or jump on Instagram. And on any of those platforms, hashtags are recognized. The hashtag we're first going to start with is hashtag Purple Power Check. This refers to people who want to be part of the discussion, part of the caucus for the check. By saying we're part of the discussion, you're part of the people who want to push, push, push for the correct amount of stimulus check. The things that you need to talk about and be on social media pushing with that hashtag, Purple Power Check, hashtag Purple Power Check, all one word, is the amount of the check or the amount of the multiple checks and when they would arrive. So you can refer to it as one check of a large amount, or you can refer to it as multiple checks over different months. And you need to consider about when it's going to cover and what months it's to function for. If you did not watch the video before this, please watch it. At the very end, I talk about my concern that we could be heading back onto lockdowns in some of the Democratic governor states in the next few days or weeks. The number of COVID-19 cases are through the roof. There's 73,000 per day tonight, which, no, 73,000 or 83,000. It was an enormous number. The highest, I think it was 83,000, the highest number since July. With those numbers, Democratic-run states are not going to stay open. They will go back on lockdown in a few weeks. And so what you need to understand is you're going to need more stimulus checks when you're back on a lockdown. So when you're doing your discussion, make it very clear in your group what period that's for. Now, what is the group? Basically, the Purple Power has been very, very, very successful on social media by interacting with each other, retweeting each other, sharing each other's message, DMing each other, retweeting and responding to one another. But there's been a lot of discussions we've had to cover. And so by separating discussions, not that I'm separating you, I'm just separating the discussions, you can focus on the narrative of each discussion. So, for example, let's give an example. Let's say Steve is on Twitter and he tweets hashtag Purple Power Check. And he says, we are owed $2,000 for the last 6 months. So I think we should be getting 6 checks starting this month, continuing next month for $2,000. Then Jessica might come in and says, no, we're already behind. We shouldn't be getting the checks a month, $2,000 a month going forward. We should have a bigger check starting now, and then more checks going forward. Then someone else say, well, how about the lockdown months that are coming? We need checks then. And that's how people discuss things among themselves and sort of figure out what might be a good solution. Then when they start to agree with each other, sort of like how you agree to when an album's released or a new track is released. I really love the first track on Beyonce's new album. No, I don't like it. It's the second one that's much better. Okay, then you start to retweet the agreement with them. Then when you start to understand what you like and what you agree, then you start to retweet it. Ultimately, an idea is formulated because there's a movement among those people in those hashtags that say, you know what? This is about right. You can see there's 500 retweets of someone saying this thing. This appears to be what a lot of people like. It's sort of the reaction to a lot of people to some particular proposal. At that point, when you see a lot of people at that building up, then it would take it to the next step. And the next step is to bring it to the legislator and to bring it to the people who are coming into Congress or the people who are staying in Congress to say, hey, I'm part of the Purple Power Caucus. Who? The Purple Power Caucus. I don't know who that is. Well, let me tell you who the Purple Power Caucus. Oh, okay. And you give them the details. You say, this is what I really think you should be pushing on. Well, I don't really think we're going to defer to... No, you're not going to defer. We're from 4 states. And what are you from my state? No, I'm not from your state. Well, you shouldn't be contacting me. The reason I'm giving you the example is that this exactly scenario happened when I did this for EIDL. I had viewers who had heard that Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz were helping a lot of viewers for EIDL loans. They did for the first few days. And so I had a lot of viewers contact Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio at that week or 2 weeks. Then the offices backed up and said, no, you've had like 500 people contact us. Back it up. We can only have for Ted Cruz people from Texas and for Marco Rubio people from Florida. We can't help you if you're not in our state. But those people that were my viewers from those states absolutely got responses. So at that point, they connected with the chief of staffs of those offices. They got the narratives in, and they got their EIDL loans approved. Now, what's important to understand is I had viewers doing this in a lot of different states at the same time. And while we're talking about applications for individuals, this is actually simple. This is the same narrative, just different people going to different places. Here's an example. Jessica in the discussion for EIDL check, she's from Texas. Okay, she would reach out to her Texas representative, says, I'm part of the Purple Power Caucus. We came to an idea about this is what we should be doing for checks. Are you from Texas? Yeah, I am. Okay, let me connect you with my chief of staff for Senator so-and-so from Texas. Then Jessica's friend Natalie, who's in Pennsylvania, she does it with her Pennsylvania representative. And suddenly it starts to build. And suddenly it starts to push. And that's how you push, push, push. If you sit back and you just sort of say, I elected you, you could just go do what you want to do with my money. And if you don't give me any money, then fine. They're not going to give you any money. That's how it works. You don't push. They don't do anything for you. Yeah, we did elect them to represent us. Yeah, we are paying them to do work for us. But that's not how elected officials work. There's a reason why there's a thing called a lobbyist. A lobbyist is a person who is paid a lot of money to go to Washington to get things for the people that he represents. Like an airline lobbyist goes to Washington to do things for the airlines. And what we're doing here is we are, in essence, becoming the lobbyist for our country. It's sort of ridiculous. No one's representing the American people except us. So we are stepping up and saying, hey, we're representing the spirit of the American people. This is what the American people need, and we need to be heard. That's check. Then we go to FPUC. FPUC, same sort of thing. The deal provisions you would talk about with FPUC. How retroactive should FPUC be? Late July? No. August? No. July? September? No, not September. It has to be July. Oh, okay. How far is FPUC going to go into the future? It should go like to January. No. It's thick of winter. It should go to February. Oh, okay. And so you talk those things with each other by tweeting and retweeting. People see your message and then they respond. Here's an example. Jared tweets, hashtag Purple Power FPUC. I think FPUC should be retroactive to August and go to January 1st, $400 a week. And then Natalie sees it and is like, no, Jared, I don't think that's right. It should be retroactive to late August because that's when FPUC 1 expired. And I think it should go to February because I don't think it should end in the thick of winter. I think it should end in early spring. Otherwise, you're going to put people on the street homeless. Oh, I think you're right, Natalie. Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's do that one. And then that's how it works. That's how you build momentum. Steve Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi can't agree on anything because they don't really talk. I don't think they really work either. But we focus and we talk and we know how to get things done. And finally, hazard pay. Now, when I say three caucuses, hazard pay, FPUC, and rent, hazard pay, FPUC, and check, I don't mean to say that any other elements of the stimulus package are insignificant, like rent. So if you want to do other items of caucusing, you can do them as well. Ultimately, you can do it on Facebook, you can do it on Twitter, you can do it on Instagram, and you need to ramp up and ramp up fast because ultimately what's going to happen is we're going to see what's happening on election night 9 days from now, and then slowly we'll start to see where the path to stimulus is right now. Understand the cast of characters will be different after election night. The whole dichotomy of the country will be totally different after election night. And I got to tell you, if you didn't watch the video before this, the entire makeup of this country could totally be different in about 30 days from now if we do have a massive surge of COVID-19 cases. I mean, they're talking about 500,000 deaths over the winter months. If we see massive lockdowns and massive deaths, even before the new president or the current president is sworn in, you could see entirely different change of everything across this landscape. Things change very quickly when a pandemic's hitting. Let me answer some incredible comments and questions from last night. William, if this is a case of being flipped, there are a lot of people being flipped out of their houses. Michelle Smith, yes, we need to fight for stimulus. Yes, we need to protest and fight for politicians to be ethical and fair. We need to fight for our stimulus. Tammy Rice, what the hell? I thought Trump was going to be the president. This is what we're going to get. Is this what we're going to turn into? Patricia Horn, what really gets me under my skin is if it were a bill that was benefiting them that would have gotten done in 3 days and signed. Very true. Bala Clint, it's bad when other countries are helping their people and we're struggling at the beginning like a pack of hungry dogs. Luis, there's powers in numbers and a lot of people on this channel. There is. This is why you have to focus on your efforts on getting things, not focus your effort on saying that nothing's coming. Renee, hey, Purple Power, and yes, the Purple Power of the power of Purple. We are united and we're family and we have a heart and we will go to the ends of the earth and you still will not stop us. We have no breaks until we are seen and we are family for the people. Heart, 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 heart. I love that, Renee Smith. I absolutely love that. Lionel Gonzalez, let's go, Purple Power. Let our voice be heard. Executive orders. Amen. Go to the Friends channel, subscribe, because those two comments really show the spirit of this channel. That's why I ended on those two. Even though it's a cold read, I saw them like, wow, that's incredible. Go to the Friends channel, subscribe, and make sure you hit the alert so you get an alert when a new video goes live. Also, like this video. Coming up tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is Early Mornings LALATE, a 1-hour broadcast with 2 videos. The first one's at 6 a.m. and the second one's at 6:30 a.m. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay at LA for more.